Hickok 45, your internet shooting companion, coming to you from the beautiful hills of Middle Tennessee. Yes, Tennessee, the home of Alvin York, Dolly Parton. Even Davy Crockett lived here, I think, for a long time. And it's beautiful. Tennessee is beautiful. If you've ever been through the state, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, I am your internet shooting companion, I hope, and I'm coming to you today on a warm, humid day in Tennessee. And you've probably noticed that in a lot of recent videos. It is hot. It seems extraordinarily warm and humid because it is. Okay, it's just the way it is in Tennessee in the summer. Firearms hold up to it pretty well, and so do I, especially now. I'm getting more healthy, believe it or not. Yeah. Again, before I start though, a reminder that, you know, if you've stumbled upon one of these shooting the breezes again, it's not for everybody, okay? Well, I mean, it is. Everybody's welcome, but it's kind of a vlog, as we call it. We like to irritate people by calling it a vlog sort of thing, and I just talk about things. So you'll be happy to know that if you did stumble in here by mistake, that it's not mandatory viewing or listening, okay? So anyway, I thought I'd let you know that, yeah, I'm still alive, and you've seen me in videos, okay? Most of you already know about the surgery. I'm minus the gallbladder, and you saw the tractor, the last Shooting the Breeze, where I talked to you from the tractor, and that was, well, it was the day after I got my last tube out and all that, so I did appear a little sickly. I noticed on the tractor. Ironically, I actually felt, in my head, I felt really good because it was better than I had felt in a while. I was actually able to get on the tractor and drive it around, and still wasn't able to lift much at all, but I was able to get around, without any encumbrances, tubes hanging out of me and all that sort of thing. So that was nice that I was able to do that, but man, I feel a whole lot better than that. I mean, I feel pretty much back to normal now. And you can probably tell in videos we post by my weight. I did lose a fair amount of weight, and I'm still working on it. Lost about 15 pounds just from the surgery and being in the hospital and everything, and I've taken that on up to about 25 pounds, or down, because like some people in politics we know of, I don't want to let a crisis go to waste. And I've been trying to lose weight. We all go through that, but I've been trying for the last year or two off and on, and I was up to 266 at one point, and I was down to around 253 or 255 before the surgery. Now I'm down to around 230, believe it or not. And a lot of that is just since the recovery. I've been really cutting down and on my eating and everything, so I'm working on it. I want at least there to be something positive from this experience in the hospital. But since I got started on some weight loss, by gosh, I'm going to continue it and get on down to where I want to get. Maybe around 225. I'm not sure what my ideal weight is, but I'm going to get on down there. So you might think I'm losing too much. I don't care. I think around somewhere in the 220s will be about right for me. Okay, but I'm eating less, and I'm not an expert on losing weight, okay? I haven't written a book on it, but I have worked on it. Well, hello, kitty. Come up here and see me. People would like to see you. You came creeping by. How you doing? So what's that old gun you got? Get that out of there. I'll put it down for a minute. Yeah. This is our inside-outside buddy. He's a sweet old kid. He wonders why I'm sitting on the shooting range talking. He heard me, didn't you? He's out a lot of the day, and he hunts and stalks things. He loves to hunt bugs and catch butterflies. I'm bothering him by talking so loud. He wonders what's going on here. Look at the people. Show them how cute you are. Show them how cute you are. Look at that. He's like a puppy. He's like a puppy. I can't believe I used to not care for cats that much. The two we've got now are, they're both just sweeties. They really are. And this guy especially. He just likes to get up in your lap. Good old boy. Yeah, he is. So anyway, most of my life I just could take or leave cats, but I've really learned to actually like them. I can hear people unsubscribing right now. Been more of a dog guy. Had golden retrievers since 1975. and John has one still, so we've continued that line. But I don't know, cats are kind of neat. They just really are. If they like you, it's for a reason. You have to earn their respect, no doubt about it. But this guy's a good boy. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. I'm not an expert. I haven't written any books on losing weight. Oh, don't leave me. What's the matter? Too warm? Yeah. But I have learned over the years, as the different times I've tried to lose weight, that because I'm always out and around, and even exercise and bicycle and that kind of thing. Sometimes more than others, parts of the year. But I have learned that even exercising, you had better cut down the food intake fairly dramatically to make much difference. I mean, you've probably gone through it where I'm out walking every day now, and I've been exercising, been riding bike, whatever you've been doing, but I'm not losing any weight or much weight. I have discovered, for me at least, I have to dramatically cut down on what I eat to make any difference. And then also exercise helps too, of course. But it doesn't have nearly as dramatic effect as just looking at the monitor, as really reducing the amount of intake, bread and all that kind of thing. So I mean, I'm kind of at a plateau right now around 230, 31. And I'm trying to get down to the 220s and stay there. And I'll tell you, I'll get up, I'll eat just a little oatmeal and very little of much at breakfast, and then a light lunch. Well, kind of a normal lunch probably, but like generally no bread, nothing outrageous at all. Then I just don't eat the rest of the day. I might have a little yogurt, a couple of like Tostito chips or something, snack around a little bit. I mean, very little bit, but I essentially don't eat much at all after like lunch or 1 o'clock. And it's still just kind of hanging there at the same area. So for people who've had trouble, just a tip, if it's worth anything, we're all, I think, probably eating about 3 or 4 times as much as we need. That's really what it comes down to. I mean, that's what I've discovered for me. Our body, especially when you get older and your metabolism is slower, I guess, but most people really need about 1/3 or 1/4 or less of what they're eating, including me, I've discovered. I mean, I'm really almost on what would be a starvation diet compared with what I used to eat, and I'm just remaining stable. I'm not really picking up weight, but I'm not really losing it right now. So now on a day when I eat like I just described, and then I'm out, like today I've been out, this is my 3rd shirt today, and I've been mowing a tractor, bush hogging, I mowed the yard, I've been working on the range and just doing a lot of out here and perspiring all day, and just the heat, I think takes it out of you. But so I'll probably see a little weight loss when I check tonight. I weigh every morning and night, and I recommend that too. It keeps you aware where you are, and you see, oh, I'm up a pound. Oh, that's right, I had a couple of pieces of pizza or whatever it is. So anyway, enough of a lecture on weight loss, but it's helped me, and I've learned a lot about what it takes for me to lose weight. So anyway, I'm feeling better. I'm feeling great. In fact, I'm where I was 260, 266 at one point about a year ago. My gosh, that's 30 pounds less, more than 30 pounds less. So, just imagine, it's like not carrying around a 30-pound dumbbell or barbell, with you everywhere you go. So I feel probably better than I have in a long time. So, and I know some of you are worried about my health. I appreciate that. Especially where John's done a video or two lately and done the vlogs, and some of you don't realize that some of the shooting videos were post-op, the Henry rifle, and a couple others, since the operation. You might not have been able to tell. I think on the LCR 22 Magnum, you could kind of tell. That was the first one that I did after the surgery. I think we did that the day after the tractor shooting the breeze thing, right? It looked a little sickly. So, like I said, I felt a lot better than I really was feeling. I thought I was feeling a lot better than I actually was, maybe. But I felt all right in that video. But anyway, so I don't know, I guess kind of look at my weight. If you want me to, I put in the description, because we have several videos, whether it's post-op or pre-op, okay? But anyway, enough about me. So anyway, and then, well, more about me. So I hope you caught excuse me, the NRA All Access thing on the Outdoor Channel. That turned out pretty well. I guess it was worth the 2 days that we spent here on the range with some very tedious work. Those were long days. As I've said, I couldn't do videos that way. I wouldn't do many at all if we did them that way. So again, it makes me appreciate, I think we said in the vlog, it makes me appreciate you guys even more, that most of you seem to like the way we do things, because wow, if we had to go through that, there would be no videos. One a year maybe. So, but anyway, I hope you caught that. I guess they rerun those sometimes, but it turned out all right. I thought it glamorized us a little too much probably, but it was nice, and it was great. I think you got a better look at John and the role he plays in all this. That's one of the things I really liked about it, because you got to hear from him more, talking about things. And of course you can hear from him anytime, and on the Hickok 45 and Sun channel he does a lot of talking and different things, and a lot of you miss the talking videos like this. Well, you don't, or you wouldn't be here watching, right? But a lot of people do, because you can tell from the comments, who's your cameraman, and why don't you let John do a video, or we want to meet John, and that kind of thing. Well, you folks that watch most of the stuff we do, quite well. In fact, you knew everything you saw in the All Access, NRA All Access video, right? So that wasn't really news to any of you. We've gone over all that kind of thing, how we started the project and everything. We've talked about that in vlogs and wow, radio shows, for years. So we don't have any big secrets, so we just talk about that stuff. Speaking of talking, we went to Sevierville. That's been a couple of weeks ago. Had a nice meet and greet there. Saw some of you there, and we appreciated you coming. I had a good crowd, and that's a great venue there at Bud's Gun Shop in Sevierville, Tennessee. We appreciate them hosting that and doing that. So that was great. It's great to meet the folks that watch the videos. We can't go around doing meet and greets all over the place, and we get requests. I hate to turn people down. Somebody in Miami wanted us to come down to a gun show, and in Kansas, and just thought California, just different places, and it's kind of hard to explain. We're not like a band or something. Like, would you come and do a venue play some hall in San Diego? Well, that would just be doing what we normally do, except we're going to go play a concert in San Diego, or whatever, but we don't do that. We make videos, and so we can do some meet and greets around here locally. And then when we do the NRA meetings and SHOT Show, we're there. And it's a great time to do it, because so many of you are there, especially at the NRA meeting, and we get to meet a bunch of you there and all that. So we want to meet you. It's just we can't go around doing meet and greets. It's just, gosh, the expenses of travel. I hate to even tell people when they call and want or message me and want us to do that, what it would take, because with travel expenses and time away from doing videos, and John away from home, me away, and all that kind of thing. And wow, even if someone gave us $10,000, it's to go to wherever, Idaho, and do a meet and greet. By the time we do the traveling and we're away from what we're doing, it sounds like we're getting rich doing meet and, yeah, it's not. Pay the tax on that and go. I mean, I'm not charging $10,000 to do a meet and greet, but you know what I'm saying. It's just different, because that's not what we do. It's not our gig, but I love doing it. So anyway, we do them occasionally, and let you know. And it's great to meet all the fine folks that we meet, and the young people and old people, middle-aged people, ladies, old ladies, really young kids. It's still one of the things that I take pride in. I really do. And the demographics of the people that watch the videos. You guys gals are from all ages and all sorts of folks, and I hear from you every day, of course, online. All genders, all persuasions, just everything, color, whatever you want to break people down by. And we're glad of that, because we try not, and we aim not to do anything to alienate anybody. Any group of people, or however you want to divide people up, which there's way too much of that going on in the country and the world, dividing people by race, religion, age, and you may have noticed from comments, I'll answer comments. I have a short fuse with anybody who approaches being a bigot. I'm sorry. And some people might just be goofing around, And they make a joke about why your target's black, or something like that, whatever it is. It's just, I've got a short fuse on that kind of thing, because I've spent most of my life, I'm not saying I was an enlightened human being when I was 16 necessarily, I don't know, but as I've gotten older and in college and became more enlightened in my life at a very early age, really, I've just had no room for any of that, and I don't like to even. I wish we could quit talking about color and religion and all that. Those are ways we divide people. You're just Joe Smith. Joe Smith is watching right now thinking, oh, how'd you know? I mean, you're Joe Smith. I don't care what you do in your personal life. I don't care what race or religion, political persuasion you are. It doesn't matter to me. It's none of my business. None of my business. I just like good folks, people who you can get along with. And, people are not obnoxious. I don't care who you are and what you look like. You might even be as ugly as I am. I can still put up with you, right? So anyway, you guys are great. It's great to meet all of you. And, and we're just, we're proud of you guys. We really are. And glad that you tune in. There are some weird people out there, as we know. There's some sick puppies out there. And of course, that's one of our challenges, isn't it? To try to overshadow those, because we have a bit of a PR hurdle, an obstacle that we constantly face as shooters, as firearms enthusiasts. It never will go away totally, because there are so many people still, believe it or not, who are not into firearms. And what they know about firearms, they get from just wherever they go on the internet or whatever newspaper they open. And they stay in their bubble, like we all have a tendency to do, right? We all kind of have our circle of friends. And, the internet, in some ways, it could be the salvation for that. And it is, in a way, social media. But by the same token, like, who do you talk to on social media all day long? What sites do you look at all day long over the last week? They're probably sites and people that are agreeable to you, people that agree with you, people kind of in your circle that think more or less the way you do. So even though the internet has all these options, I don't know that I think we're still very polarized and balkanized, or however you want to look at it, because you can go out your entire life and just not realize what's going on in some other world with young people or older people or whatever. It's just so different from when I was young, and all the media came into everybody in the family. We all sat there and watched Gunsmoke on a Friday night or whatever it was, There were 3 channels, and you had these certain shows that were really pretty good, whatever they were, And sometimes they were Westerns, and so everybody watched it. The mom, the sisters, the daughters, everybody did, really. If you wanted to watch TV, there wasn't much else on. So it wasn't like Dad was forcing you to watch Bonanza or Gunsmoke against your will, and you were mad about it, even if you were the young daughter or something, and didn't particularly like Westerns. It was probably the best thing on at that time on Friday night or Saturday. There were not a lot of options. So, but boy, that doesn't exist now at all. You can go your entire life and just never see a show or listen to a podcast or a radio show that your mom listens to, or your brother does in Idaho or something, because they're tuned into other podcasts, other stations, other TV shows, other cable shows, other news channels. That's just the way it is. But I don't know how to go off on all that. But anyway, we know we do have a challenge because there are some sick folks out there. Some of them they're sick, and they're kind of organized, and they're influenced by folks, and they call themselves terrorists, and they become terrorists. And they want to disrupt the world, right? You've got that element. And then you got just a sick wacko occasionally, like I guess the guy in Germany. I'm speaking to you on what's the day? The 24th, I guess, of July. And we'll post this sometimes this week. But I think that guy maybe not be a terrorist, they think, at this time. But he somehow got a hold of a Glock in Germany. I hear every day from people in Germany, you can't get a gun, you can't get a handgun. Somehow you got one, just like in Paris and everywhere else. So we know that people, you and I know that people can get firearms. And that's the thing that people who don't follow it, that are in their bubble and don't like firearms, they typically don't realize that. There's some good folks, could be in your family, and they just don't understand how we could be against some of the background checks and like the no-fly list and some of those things. It makes no sense. We're all crazy. Well, if you follow the Second Amendment, you support the Second Amendment, and you see some of the people that ended up on the no-fly list, and you realize that thing is fraught with error. I could be on it tomorrow. You could be on it tomorrow, and you have no recourse to appeal, at least right now. And so it's a great vehicle for taking away your Second Amendment rights. So that's the reason that we're all wary of that one. Now, obviously, if you have a reason to be on the no-fly list, and if they get that thing cleaned up to where at least you have a way to appeal it and figure out why you're on it, and get your attorney or yourself to straighten that out, then it's a different matter. Yeah, obviously we don't want terrorists, being able to walk into a gun shop and buy a gun. However, they will get it anyway. So there's the other side of that. So I don't know, but there's some sick people out there, and there's always going to be sick people. Of course, the spree shootings and things like that get all the publicity, but there's sick in the county where I live. I'm sure there's someone being abused right now, beat up, maybe molested. Where you live in your county, there's murders going on everywhere, and all these things are horrific. It's just when they happen at one point, it's much more dramatic and makes great news, especially for the anti-gun crowd, right? So anyway, guns are supposed to be dangerous. Otherwise, the Second Amendment would have no teeth, right? Yeah, I mean, guns are dangerous. Yeah, they're lethal. Yeah, they sure are. And but not nearly as lethal as weird human beings. So we know the story on that. Most of us are not a problem by like 99.9%. But anyway, alcoholism. I still like the. It's hard to argue with people that don't see it. Of course, just don't like firearms. Just like somebody who you might have known some people in your life who hate the fact that there's so much alcohol out there. And I've known some people, my brother who's passed now, but he was very religious, and I've known other folks that they would, if they could have snapped their fingers and banned alcohol, they would have. They didn't make a drive against it necessarily, but just one of the most horrible things in society to a lot of people. Mostly people of a serious religious bent, and not all of them, of course, but I mean, you could argue that alcohol, does more damage than almost anything, and the accidents, the traffic accidents, the ruined lives, the alcoholism, how many people, kids, children, spouses are abused because of people that get drunk, can't handle it. Look at every bar in the United States right now, or any weekday at 5, 6 o'clock in the evening, 7 o'clock. How many people are in there having lots of beers, lots of drinks? How are they getting home? 95% of them are going to go outside and get in their car, and they're going to drive home on the road right beside you and me, coming right at you and me. So that's scary. I mean, I don't have a thing against alcohol at all, but that, when I think about it, that's scarier to me than if everybody in the country had a pistol on them. Because for that pistol to be a problem, it requires intent. It requires that person to be, have intent to be evil, or be, have the desire to hurt somebody, so, and that's usually not the case. So anyway, lots of sickos out there, but I don't want to dwell on the negative, but I like to talk about that. It's all the more reason to vote when it's time. You better be registered to vote, okay? What else was I going to talk about? Well, this time of year, I was thinking as I was driving the tractor around today, on a lighter note, this is the time of year that every summer I would start thinking about what I was going to be doing in the fall. Well, in the fall, if you know about, well, you do know, if you have kids, or even if you don't, school starts early now. It used to start in September when I was young, but now it starts in August. And, whoops, knocked my glasses off. Did you see my bald head? But actually, my head's not bald. I think some people think I'm actually bald, but I'm really not. Got a little hair up there. I just keep it short. But I always think, I remember over the years, about the middle of July, when school was out, it was an intense year. It's intense if you ever taught. I would just come back and, okay, that's the end of that. I'm not doing anything related to next year for at least a month and a half, and I would just forget about it totally. But then about the middle of August, which is generally about a month away, 3 or 4 weeks away from in service and getting back at it, starting to think, I would start thinking about it then, okay, what am I doing this year? And am I doing the same novel? Am I doing what's going on? What's my schedule going to be like? And who's left? Who's still teaching there? And start thinking about it. And I would about 2 days a week, I would go in, maybe on a weekend, keys to everything, of course. I would just go in maybe on a Saturday morning. Maybe I needed to run to Nashville anyway. I would just go in, get in the building, go up to my classroom. I had a high-tech classroom since '93, laptops and all that, and make sure everything's working. The server, when the server was in my abode there, and get things back arranged maybe if I needed to, and just sit down with the summer reading the kids were doing, students were doing, and make sure I knew what I was going to do about summer reading, how I was going to handle that when they got back, and all those sorts of things. Just get my mind start getting my mind oriented again, and I would do that about 2-3 days a week, and then you'd see colleagues would be there more often, and that was good. See people you hadn't seen for a while, and maybe have some meetings about things, and again, computers were a big issue, big thing where I taught, and so the whole school went laptop too. And I don't know if I've talked much about that. I had a 7th grade laptop program in the '90s, and it was unique in the country actually for a while, and in the school for a while, and then the whole school went in laptops, and so there was just a lot of training, a lot of in-service training for that, and be a new system every year of some sort, it would seem like. But anyway, I was thinking about that today. I was driving around on the tractor, and how I kind of missed that. I missed the students a lot, because it was just fun. I was in a private school where you could actually teach, and I had great kids. I mean, they're kids, so kids are always annoying, right? But no, they were great, and I missed that. But that's the only part I really missed, the in the classroom part. So much of teaching has changed. There were curriculum changes mandated, even in the private school where I was. And I'm not, I don't want to be negative, but if I were in college right now, or I were 22 or 3 or whatever, I probably would not choose teaching as a career again. I would do something different, very likely. Like I did through the '80s, I was doing something different in publishing, different things. But I know it has changed so much. So you younger folks, if you're in college or you're 16, you're trying to decide what to do, really do your research, talk to some people who teach, see what the day is like, see what teaching is all about, really. It's just changed, I think. I taught in the '70s, and I taught in the '90s, and right on up to 2013. And through those years, the actual teaching part of it, I did some coaching also, but the teaching part, in one way it got more fun for me, because I got more relaxed. I knew what I was doing, the material better. I think I got better at it. The kids I had the last 10, 15 years, I think had a better experience even, because I got better at it, I think, and more relaxed. I had more fun doing it and could still do it well, I think. But from the outside the classroom, there just became more micromanagement, and you began to get less and less freedom. The last, 10, 15 years that I did teach. So it was time for me to go in a lot of ways. I was not enjoying that part of it, and had thought about leaving, at various times even before that. The thing that would keep me there was just I enjoyed the actual teaching so much. But there was a major curriculum change a couple of years before I left, and it was not as good a situation after that in my last 2 years. It was great again as far as time in the classroom when I'm teaching, but the material and some things that were mandated, and then there's so many academic advisors now at every school, and so many people who have to justify their positions, and whatever, based on whatever they've read, the latest book on educational theory or what, it just has gotten to the point where you don't have as much freedom to be yourself. And I know in the public schools you hear the criticism, it's even worse. I would research it, I really would, because it might not be what you think it is. In the good old days, you really had the freedom to, and you could use your creativity and your imagination to a greater extent, and really provide a better experience for the kids. You really could, while they still learned a lot, okay? And I'm not so sure you have much freedom anymore, and maybe that's a good thing if you're a bad teacher, you know? I don't know. But anyway, but I miss it despite all that. I miss those dumb kids. It was so much fun. It really was. But I go back and see them. The last students I taught are juniors this year, and I'll go back and see them and watch them play sports, especially, and you know, hang out. So many people are different from when I was there, where I taught. Yeah, most all of the deans, administrators have turned over, and I feel like I'm in a new school when I go back there. You know, I don't feel as welcome. I don't know anybody. I know some of the teachers, but quite a few of those are gone too. And then in a couple of years, all the students I had will be gone, and I won't know really very many people there. So that'll be sad. But it's been a gradual change. So, but anyway, teaching is so much fun, working with young people. But it's like the company you work for. I've worked for several companies, 6 or 7 in my life, lots of different jobs. None of them are perfect. None of them are perfect. I mean, it doesn't matter where it is. There's problems, or there's somebody you don't like. There's somebody above you gives you a hard time maybe, or you can't get what you need from them. That if you're experiencing some of that, don't jump companies just because of that. You know, look at it closely, because wherever you go, it will be the same. It might not be quite as bad, or it might be worse. Okay, so I've worked for a lot of different companies, and I always had a good experience. But you get that everywhere you go. All right, what else could I pontificate about? Guns. I'll talk about guns a little bit. Oh, the Garand. You're going to see the Garand in action. You saw John do. He posted a video with it on the Hickok 45 and Son channel. Got her back out, got her sighted in. We did a chapter 2. People have been requesting, and I really enjoyed it. I really did. Got the sights on, and all through the John's video, my getting the sights on, prepping, and then doing the video, we have not had one malfunction. It just seems to be even working better than it ever has, and it feels great. And there's just nothing like the M1 Garand. This one was made in 1943, October of 1943. So it saw action, and I talk about that again in the video, so kind of watch for that. We'll try not to wait too long before we post it. So I'm going too long. Remember now, again, vote. Let's wrap up with this business, because it doesn't matter what you think about the presidential candidates. And I know a lot of people are disappointed about how, of all the people in this country, look who we ended up with, the 2 choices, okay? You know, what's more important than either of those choices is that you go vote and you make sure you're registered, because of those choices, and we're not sure what we're going to get maybe, the Senate, the Congress is so much more important now. And of course the Supreme Court. So think about the Supreme Court and how life as we know it is shaped by the Supreme Court. And whoever is president could appoint 2 or 3 or more Supreme Court justices over the next 4 or 8 years. Okay? And the balance has been, 5-4, 4-4 lately, so it could go either direction here. It's up to us now. It's up to us. So if the person you don't like gets into office and you're mad and you voted for the other one and whatever, well, if you vote, we get the right people in Congress, in the Senate, maybe the damage can be minimized. I don't know. But it's really important, even more important this year, to vote up and down that list and get the right people. The people, and when I say right people, obviously that's people I agree with. And you know who I agree with. I'm more libertarian by nature. And I want people in office that have a whole lot of respect for my civil liberties. for even my individuality, but for freedom, gun rights. All right. I'm not worried about a lot of silly stuff. I'm worried about liberty and freedom more than anything in the Constitution. That's my main concern. So you can call the political parties whatever you want to call them, and you can look at anybody you want, whether they're female or they're black, they're white, they're old, they're young, and none of that matters to me as much as what that person stands for. Okay, and so anyway, we need to get people that respect freedom and will do the right thing when it comes to the Second Amendment. All right, so be sure you go vote. It's just a crazy time. This really could be one of the most significant times in history, maybe in my lifetime, where who gets elected president could make more difference than it ever has regarding just in general, freedom, okay, our liberties, our gun rights. It really could. I've seen people talk about it, and people, I think there's a tendency, people kind of want to work together. We've seen so much racial divide lately in the news. And of course, there's a lot of people who make a living out of that, and politicians are some of them. They can get more done if they can divide us, because then they can be the champion of our cause. You got to have an evil force. You got to have a devil over there in order to sell whatever you're selling, right? And to buy the votes you want to buy. So politicians and others have an agenda, and it's in their best interest to keep us divided, really in a lot of ways. So it's up to you and me, all of us, to shun that. It's all so silly. It doesn't matter what somebody believes. Again, religion, color, race, whatever. None of that matters. None of that matters. We're all human beings. Well, some question whether I am, but none of that matters. But I've seen a lot of people say, "Well," and we're trying to work together. All right. Can't you gun people compromise? Can't you compromise a little bit? Well, we've compromised for a long time. There are 22,000 gun laws, it's estimated. Okay? And here comes my favorite loud motorcycle. It's a Harley, I think. Yeah. But one of my answers to that is there's 22,000 gun laws, and about half of those are silly laws. So yeah, we'll compromise. How about you eliminate 10,000 of those? Okay? How's that for a compromise? So the other side is constantly throwing more regulations, more restrictions, more laws at us Second Amendment supporters, and so it makes no sense when they come up with something else they want to do. What's the matter? Can't you compromise? Yeah, we'll compromise. Let's back up here and let's look at the big picture again, and let's look at all of those many thousands of laws, and let's decide where the compromise is. How about we just start out by compromising and cut them in half? Okay. So, but anyway. We'll argue about that for a long time. The main thing, and I don't debate it and argue with people very much, because I just send another check to the gun rights organizations, or make sure I'm voting, and make another video. So you can't change some people's minds, but you can represent the sport well, as I talked about a lot, and the endeavor of the firearms community. Make sure you're doing that, and we try to do that. I think it's really important. So many of you are buying firearms that it's going to be hard for the anti-gunners, the anti-freedom forces to really have much impact. I mean, they might, or try and do it by state level, like in Massachusetts. Crazy stuff going on there. Hopefully, we can get that overturned. But so they're having a really hard time doing anything at the federal level. So they are attacking state by state. Yeah. But just stay in the fight and vote. Most importantly, vote. Okay. What else was I going to talk about? I probably ought to show you this beautiful gun again. I'm not going to shoot it. I don't have my ears out here. But, I have my ears, but, nothing in them. What a piece of history. And this is what makes our sport, our hobby, so interesting. The fact that we can handle things like this, own them, and shoot them. It's it's really, as I say in the video, it's an honor really to be able to own something like this. Somebody carried this probably in the heat of the battle in World War II. And you know, those people, mostly men at that time, but not always. My mother was in the military in early 40s. The WACs. You know, she was stationed at Fort Knox and ran the not the cafeteria, what they call it, but the cafeteria. You know, at Fort Knox. You know, during the war. So there were women, of course, involved. But the men who carried these things in the field, we really owe them a lot of gratitude, because that's the reason we can own them. It's the reason we can own them. And here we are, if we're not careful, we're about to let it slip away. So anyway, I'll shut up. Just want to let you know I'm alive and doing fine, and have been doing videos, and just fine. I haven't shot a shotgun yet. I held off on the 12 gauge stuff. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back to the last Shooting the Breeze. And I didn't show you my scar, but they had to cut me open. They couldn't just do the simple surgery to get the gallbladder out. They had to go with a big knife. And so I was in pain for quite a while. Pain's about gone now, and I'm out, you know, doing whatever I've done. Okay, and so back in action and enjoying doing the videos. I'm a lot lighter, so I can lift heavier guns now. Life is good.